Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today, Pat.
It's nice being here.
You recently published some books. Would you like to talk about that?
Yes, sir. I published Adorned in Black, which is a biography, In the Midst of Controversy, which is a poetry book, and forgot the third one. Oh my goodness, forgot the third one. I released a third one.
It's all been in the past month, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that'll
so
happen.
it's a lot. I know the subtitle is In the Midst of the Pandemic, but it's a pretty much a sequel to Adorned in Black. But yeah, both of them are pretty much biographies. Talk about past experiences. The Dark Aftermath, that's what it's called. Doggone it. It's like, I don't know how I had a brain fart about my own book. It's like,
It happens. What are some of the things that you talk about in your book?
I talk about like situations with my dad, because my dad passed away a couple of years ago. I talk about situations I deal with being a black guy in the metal and hardcore scene. I talk about being accepted and not accepted as far as being different. So it covers a great deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read a few chapters of your book, and I look forward to reading the rest of it for sure. So I think we met roughly 20 years ago. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was at Patrick Henry Community College. So I think it was 2003. I get my years mixed up.
Oh
So.
yeah, that was the first year I went over there.
Okay.
Right around the fall.
Okay, so it would have been about 18 years ago then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you grow up reading Dr. Seuss books?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite Dr. Seuss book?
Definitely The Cat in the Hat.
Why would you say that's your favorite book out of all the Dr. Seuss books?
Good times. I mean, that's what it's been about. I used to go to the doctor. Used to be a bit of a punk, scared to get a shot, and my mom would pick that book up. She'd read it to me and it'd calm me down. So it was definitely some good times reading that book, and she'd read it to me before I went to bed.
So the first part of our discussion is going to be about the Cat in the Hat. We're also going to take a look at the Conscious Kid Library and their history with Dr. Seuss Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
First, I figured we'd take a look at some of the claims they're making against the Cat in the Hat. This started May 22nd, 2017, with this report. Katie Ishizuka-Stephens presented this report for the National Education Association. The full PDF of this report is on pragmaticmom.com. Now, the next image that we're going to show is from the report. And I'm not showing this to trigger any of the audience members watching, as the Conscious Kid Library has done, but this image is shown to illustrate what is being presented. The following image is directly from the 2017 report by the Conscious Kid Library, and a similar image has also been shared to their Instagram page as recently as last month. So, this is what we have here. So, we can see this is from the report, so we can see what they're saying here is that every time someone dresses up as the Cat in the Hat, that anti-black racism and cultural appropriation is reinforced, and the legacy of blackface and minstrelsy lives on, and that if the National Education Association continues to encourage children to dress up as the cat, then it's sending a painful message, and they have given 3 examples. Would you say that it's become more difficult to talk about race? Because I feel I feel uncomfortable talking about some of this right now. Do you think it's become more difficult since we met 20 years ago, for better or worse? Do you think it's
difficult, but when it comes to difficult circumstances, we have to address them. Like we can't just say, hey, it's difficult, so we just gonna leave it alone. You have to come full fledged with it. You have to address it in order to bring healing.
Do you think that a child today would ever make any connection between the Cat in the Hat and a blackface performer?
Not at all. Man, when kids see the cat in the hat, they see a cat in the hat. They ain't gonna see somebody wearing blackface. I don't even think they would see a human being. I think for the most part, what they would see is a character.
Yeah. And I think that most people realize that. I think the problem is since this is directed to the National Education Association, for them to deny it makes them sound like, that they're creating this problem. Um, Basically, they're saying that this sends out a message that black people are dirty, chaotic, and performers to white people, not suitable for white spaces. This whole conversation, it feels surreal to me that we have to even have this conversation.
Yeah.
But that same year, in September, the National Education Association announced their decision to cancel their annual celebration of Dr. Seuss for Read Across America. This is the nation's largest celebration of reading, with 54 million annual participants. The only thing I remember one time we had like fried green eggs and bacon or something. What are some of the things you remember doing for Dr. Seuss's birthday?
The same. I mean, we'd even have people come dressed like that. I mean, even students would have a little hat with the red stripes on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a good time. But like, I would never. I mean, based on having that good time, I would never think, hey, we're celebrating something bad by doing it. I mean, because as kids, it's a good time.
So even though the methods that were used in this study were highly deceptive, their meeting with the National Education Association resulted in this dissociation for the first time in 20 years. And if you go to the website, Read Across America now, Dr. Seuss has been completely removed from Read Across America book recommendation list. Now, when you type a search for Dr. Seuss as of April, you only get 2 results. And neither title is Dr. Seuss related. And I just wanted to mention, I know that some people probably find the story of the prince and the dressmaker to be controversial. But from what I can judge from the synopsis, in my opinion, it sounds like a nice story. But it does seem strange that a book where the main character gets drunk and passes out is acceptable, but Dr. Seuss isn't. I almost didn't include this slide, but do you have anything you want to say about that?
That's very interesting. I mean, you got somebody who's trying to bring on or trying to bring people together, and then you got people who are posting or putting out books like this out to kids. And I'm not trying to shame whoever put this book out. Obviously, they were trying to get their creative point across, but at the same time, I don't think that they should actually, if they're going to look at every book and decide what's controversy and what's not, they need to look at all of them first before they decide we're going to shame one writer and not look at the rest of what somebody else is writing.
Like, I can't see why Dr. Seuss has been completely removed from the recommendation list. Like, why can't we have both?
Right.
So nearly 2 years later, the study was presented again in a new report. Now, this report, like the last one, has a lot of harsh accusations using loose correlations. In addition, the report is full of exaggerated and inaccurate information. Now, this is from page 10 of the 2019 report. It says, this study assessed 50 of the 59 Dr. Seuss children's books using a mixed methods research design. 9 books were not analyzed due to their unavailability from local public libraries. The Geisel Library at the University of California, San Diego, and online library sources. One of the children's books included in the study was published under Dr. Seuss's pseudonym, Theo Lessig. They actually included 6 books, plus one under the pseudonym Rosetta Stone. Now, I guess one question I would have is if you were going to include one book by Theo Lessig, why would you include one book and not all of them?
Right.
And this is something that would take time, but what would an accurate report actually look like? Because according to their report, there's only 2% of the characters in his books are people of color. But we would actually have to take time and do research and come up with the data to actually find out what the real number would be.
Mm-hmm.
They also mentioned in the report that they didn't have access to 9 books. The Dr. Seuss collection at the library at UC San Diego, it contains approximately 8,500 items. I would think they would have all the books. This study was presented in 2017, and then it was presented again in 2019. So with 2 additional years, they had the opportunity to provide a more accurate report. The 2017 report is just credited to Katie Ishizuka-Stephens. The 2019 report credits 2 people as Katie Ishizuka and Ramon Stephens. They're a married couple, and Ramon got his PhD from the UC San Diego. So he would have had immense opportunity to check out the books that they were unable to check out. I'm wondering what he added to the report.
Mm-hmm.
So as we talk about this, think about maybe some questions that might come to mind for you, because I have a lot of questions personally.
I do too.